Hi everyone, Sailor Moon here, Serena here, giving my thoughts on the first Sailor Moon saga we saw today on Cartoon Network, or drawing show FOLKWORK, Adult Swim, Grown Up Swim. This one also has a Deke offshoot of it. So it starts out that Luna, we left early in the morning. Deke cut this out, believe it or not. Deke cut it out. Luna wakes up in the morning, sees that we all left, and I leave her a note. The note says, we went on a kin break. We'll be back tomorrow. Watch the house for us. And for whatever grounds, Deke cut this out. I don't know what he did, but Deke cut it out. Where Deke one starts out at, we're on the road driving, we're on the street driving somewhere, and Samuel's playing some kind of film game. Now, on the Deke Sailor Moon, I was irked at Samuel for the game being too loud, and I start fighting with him. And then a necklace gets knocked down. And then my father, in Deke, he gets pissed off and he asks me, he goes, so, Serena, who gave that to you, a boyfriend? I said, you could say that. And then, he pulls the way into the side of the street and goes, Serena, you were going with a boyfriend and you didn't tell us? I say, nothing like that. And my mother says, watch the road. It was Malvin. And he goes, ha ha. Now that's a boy for you. And I go, as if. When we get there, my mother and father talk about how this was where they first met. And Deke, they say, this dad have outstanding thoughts for them, because that's where they first met at. Well, Kunf Millikite and got some might that was coming from the lake. It wasn't a Dark Kingdom fiend, but it did have the same might. And then Queen Beryl sent Aldeling Darien to go look into it. And he said, I don't think you should trust Darien. He might know his thoughts have been played with. We may have done something to his thoughts. And then Queen Beryl's like, no, Darien's underneath our run-in lead, but I need you to watch over him and come back and tell me what he says and does. So then we'd be in the hot springs, and my brother Samuel didn't want to be in the hot springs because it smelled like rotten eggs. My mother says, hey, it's all right. You'll be cooled once you deal with smelling like rotten eggs. And I knock him in the water. We start splashing. And then my mother says, oh, don't be fighting when he takes my sheep from me. And my father says, hey, don't. And the Deke, my mother says, you're yelling too loud. He goes, oh, it's all right. He goes, the decimals, how loud is all right? And Viz, he was like, it's all right, let them have fun. So then Samuel, I was like, you want to make it up to B8? Lee, don't do this to me. Get my towel back. So then Sam and I see Darien out there walking around. And I go out to meet him. And then I say, Darien, it's me, Serena. Don't you know? He goes, Serena? Darien? What do you want? That's what he said in Deke one. The Viz one is, Monaru, Usagi? I don't know. He goes, in the Viz run, he goes, Darien, Serena? I don't know these names. So it's about near. And then my mother calls me back, and I said, Darien, how can you not know it's me? He goes, that song, I know it somewhere. And then my mother tells me about the saga of the fiend in the lake, about how there was a water being that was Deke's name for it. And this underliner came down from heaven, and a man fell in love with the underwriter. But there was a woman in this Trump who loved the man too, and this Gore too. And she got really angry. And Lucifer took the upper hand on her anger and shifted her into a fiend. And then the underwriter and the man working with God and Jesus working through them and with them casted the fiend into the lake. And they died not too long afterwards, and both went back. And he went to heaven with her. So my mother says, then that was the saga of the lake. Darien hears about this and says, I'm going to free you from the lake, you fiend. I free you from your lockup. You will answer to your overling. And she goes, answer to you? No way. Where's that wretful water fiend? And then she goes after my kin. And I say, oh no, a lake fiend with bad hair, because that's what I said in Deke, Sailor Moon. My father seeks to fight the fiend, but he's choked by it. Tuxedo Max helps out and says it's bad form, bad way to strike unguilty folks. And then he goes, we all run away. And he goes, back to the lakes, fish fiend. And he goes, oh, this Tuxedo Max fellow's going to help us. I was like, at least he's on our side, I hope. Then I shapeshift and become Sailor Moon. And then the other sailor fighters show up. And I say, how dare you besmirch my kin outing and fear strike my kin. And then Tuxedo Max says, yes, it was me. I'm the one who freed her from the lake, and I got to put her back. It was my mistake. And then Sailor Jupiter and Sailor Venus do their strikes, but nothing happens. I do the moon ring might, nothing happens. Sailor Mars, Sailor Red Roll hits her with a against evil scroll, freezing her. And then I do my moon healing, and God and Jesus heal her of the hatred that Lucifer put in her heart. And she goes to heaven. Now in Deke Sailor Moon, she goes, thank you, everyone. Thank you. And then, that's how it goes. After that, my mother and father are worried about me. Samuel's worried about me. And Deke, he goes, I wish I wasn't mean to her. And I was like, I'm here. And everybody's happy to see me. Then we're at the hot springs. And I'm like, I hope Darian will come back. We can get the brainwashing off him. I hope I don't become angered and my anger become the greater of me and become a fiend. And it's like, don't worry, we won't let that happen. And they dunk me. Now, before I end this film, the only thing that Deke shifted or cut out was Luna being left alone. That's the only thing that Deke shifted in this whole one, believe it or not. Beyond that, everything else was the way it was. Only some of the words were shifted around. I'll see you later for the next